Assalamualaikum day viewers. Welcome to my channel Crescent Notes. Today we will discuss Canto 5 in detail. We have already discussed previous cantos in detail, so you can watch my videos. Canto 5 begins when Belinda bewailed her lot and the hearers are filled with pity and shed tears. इन सब के दिल दुख से भर चुके थे और सब आंसू बहाने में लग गए. Pope gives the allusion pertaining to an incident in Virgil's epic is one of the typical mock heroic touches in the Rape of the Lock. The attitude of Lord Peter is wittily contrasted with the ungrateful and unfeeling resolution of Virgil's hero. Though all the rest pitied poor Belinda, the Baron is not at all affected by her lament, nor is he moved by the reproaches of Telestris. बेलिंडा जैसे जैसे अपनी लॉक के खोने का अफसोस और मातम कर रही थी, बैरन पर उसकी फरियाद का कोई असर नहीं पड़ रहा था. Fate, however, conspires with Jove and make the Baron deaf to this appeal. अब क्या था कि टेलेस्ट्रिस ने भी रेविशर मतलब जिसने लॉक काटी थी उसके ख़िलाफ़ गलत अल्फाज का इस्तेमाल करना शुरू कर दिया था, एक्सपेक्टिंग इन दिस मैनर टू मूव हिम, बट इट इज़ नॉट टू इफेक्ट, फॉर नन कैन पॉसिबली सक्सीड वेयर द ब्यूटिफुल बेलिंडा हैज़ फेल्ड. Here, Pope creates an extended comparison with Book 4 of Virgil's Aeneid, in which the Trojan hero Aeneas is forced by Jupiter or Jove to abandon his lover Dido. Dido ultimately kills herself after her pleadings come to nothing, and her sister Anna is likewise unsuccessful. In this allusion, the Baron is placed in the role of Aeneas, Belinda is the role of Dido, and Telestris is the role of Anna. But crucially, while that epic scenario is very high stakes, this fight over a lock of hair is rather low stakes. Therefore, in creating this comparison, Pope comically emphasizes the triviality of situation. हमें महसूस होता है कि जैसे क्लैरिसा को पोएट ने अपने हाथों में एज ए पपेट यूज़ किया. शी इज़ अ सिंबल ऑफ सैनिटी इन दिस वर्ल्ड ऑफ वैनिटी. थ्रू क्लैरिसा's स्पीच Pope lays down the moral of the poem. पहले क्लैरिसा को किसी और तरीके से दिखाया गया था कि उसने खुद बैरन के हाथों में सीजर पकड़ाई थी. अब क्लैरिसा को किसी और सेंस में दिखाया गया. क्लैरिसा मेक्स अ प्ली फॉर गुड ह्यूमर बिफोर द एनरेज्ड टेलेस्ट्रिस एंड द सोरोफुल बेलिंडा. Women are called angels and adored like angels. They should therefore prove worthy of their honor. Clarissa grows fed up with the situation and steps forward to give her thoughts. Clarissa's name literally means clarity, and the speech demonstrates her intellectual and moral authority. Clarissa argues that the emphasis society puts on women to be merely beautiful is absurd, and that men should only praise women who are both beautiful and virtuous. However, it is worth remembering that she helped the Baron snip off the lock by offering him her scissors. But her speech can be taken as a means of excusing her own behavior by suggesting that the lock was never really that important. Here we are reminded of the tragic undertones of human existence. Beauty of exterior must be accompanied by interior qualities, for the former is short-lasting. A decline in one's attractiveness is inevitable. All hair eventually turns grey, every face ages regardless of the makeup covering it, and anyone who is unmarried must die an old maid. ऑन द होल कहने का ये मतलब है कि कुल्लुन नफ्सिन ज़ायक़तुल मौत के हर चीज़ ने मौत का जायका चखना है. डिके अवेट्स ऑल बॉडीज़ नो मैटर हाउ ब्यूटीफुल, एंड सो एनी ब्यूटी इज़ इटसेल्फ ट्रांजिएंट एंड देयरफॉर वर्थलेस. कि खूबसूरती भी लॉन्ग लास्टिंग नहीं होती. शी सम्स अप हर आर्ग्यूमेंट बाय स्टेटिंग दैट वाइल एक्सटीरियर ब्यूटी मे अट्रैक्ट द आइज़, virtue attracts the soul. Here Pope continues the mock epic style of narration, drawing upon epic battle scenes and comparing the characters' struggle with those of the gods Pallas, Mars, Latona, Hermes, Jove, and Neptune. Actually, no one is very impressed with this speech. Thalestris calls Clarissa a prude, and Belinda calls to arms to arms. The humor here comes from the fact that this courtly fight is clearly not nearly as impressive or dramatic as an epic battle. Here, the most frightening sounds are the clap of fans and the rustle of silks. The poet explains that this is exactly like how the gods of Homer fight, and it resembles a battle between Pallas, Mars, Latona, Hermes, and Jove and Neptune. Umbriel is delighted with what's going on and watches gleefully. Thalestris hurries through the crowd and scatters death from both her eyes at her glance. Courtiers, Sir Deperweight and Sir Fopling perish. The poet emphasizes both the silliness of the court and the fact that despite their supposed intellectual and moral authority over women, the men in this poem appear especially foolish. Then the Baron had previously promised that he would never surrender the lock. Now Belinda scores her victory over the Baron. Belinda approaches the Baron ready to attack him. She pinches his nose and then releases, but only after throwing some snuff powder at him, which the gnomes push in the right directions. अब इस पाउडर से क्या हुआ कि एक तो बैरन को यॉर्निंग शुरू हो गई और दूसरा स्नीजिंग शुरू हो गई. The Baron inhales the snuff powder, causing him to sneeze loudly. She then pulls out a bodkin. Bodkin क्या था? उसकी एक ख़ास किस्म की पिन थी. इसके पीछे भी एक बहुत लंबी कहानी है कि वो bodkin इसकी कैसे वो bodkin कैसे इनहेरिट हुई थी. The description of the bodkin meanwhile parodies the tradition in epic poetry of tracing the history of a particular weapon, once again comically comparing the high-stakes world of epic with the triviality of the court. Belinda threats Baron to restore her lock, else she would pierce him with her deadly bodkin. उसने उसको धमकी दी कि अगर तुमने मेरी लॉक वापस ना की तो मैं तुम्हें इस बॉटकिन से चीर फाड़ के रख दूंगी. Belinda's comparison of herself to the tragic figure of Othello as he searches for the handkerchief. क्योंकि ओथलो को लगता था कि अगर उसको हैंडकरचीफ मिल गया तो उसकी वाइफ बेवफा साबित हो जाएगी. He believes this to be proof of his wife's infidelity, over which he ultimately murders her. Once again, create a humorous juxtaposition between an incredibly tense and dramatic situation and her own relatively trivial one. But mysteriously, the lock is nowhere to be found. वो लोग कहाँ गई, कैसे गई, उसका क्या सीन था? Pop gives a picture of the sphere carrying the moon to which it is supposed Belinda's lock had shot up. This is because the moon was long believed to be the place where everything lost on earth, the earth's rubbish, was stored. ये कहा जाता था कि ज़मीन का जो कुछ भी रबिश है वो मून में जाके स्टोर हो जाता है. तो उनको भी ये लगा था कि म्यूज़ ने अपनी आंखों से देखा था कि वो जो लॉक है वो मून में पहुंच चुकी थी, मतलब वहाँ पे उसकी लॉक स्टोर हो चुकी थी. द म्यूज़ ऑफ पोइट्री टुक इट टू द स्काई वेयर इट शाइन्स नाउ एज ए स्टार. जहाँ पे वो स्टार की तरह चमक रही थी, उसकी लॉक स्टार की तरह शाइन कर रही थी. द पोएट अर्जेस द नेम्स नॉट टू मॉर्न हर लॉस, हर वेरी लॉस ensured her immortality. The poem ends up with a comparison of Belinda's eyes with the brightness of the sun. If we remember, अगर हम याद रखें कि जब पोएम स्टार्ट हुई थी तब भी कुछ इसी किस्म का कंपैरिजन किया गया था. एंड इन अ वे इट गिव्स अ टोटल यूनिटी टू द होल पोएम. और ये एक तरह से एंड में भी यही कहा गया है कि बेलिंडा की आइज़ भी इसी तरह चमक रही हैं जैसे कि सूरज चमक रहा है. तो यहाँ पे द रेप ऑफ द लॉक का एंड हुआ और कैंटो 5 भी एंड हुआ. To watch my videos regularly, please subscribe my channel and watch my videos till end. Thank you for watching. Take care. Allah Hafiz.